Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the you in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy,
where we give you the courtesy of conversation
that's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Hey, thanks everybody for sticking with us and viewing us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe every time you see this pop up. Don't forget our shows, 7 p.m. Pacific time every Friday. Pacific time every Friday night. That's the Friday Fix. 1 p.m. Pacific time Sunday show. That's our Sunday Town Hall. The link will be inside of the comments. You can join us anytime. How you doing, Wesley?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I drank that water and everybody got to smell it. It's all goody.
Hey, man, it's been a pretty crazy last few days ever since we've did our last report.
Hold on, Wesley. Let me ask you this. When has it not been the last couple crazy days? I feel like it's all. I feel like we're calling the Power Rangers every day. Be like, oh, you need to go jump somebody in the park today. Like, damn, every day.
It's pretty much our existence for at least the next 4 years, maybe longer. Who knows, depending upon how things do turn out. But I like to start with Trump pauses aid to Ukraine amid clash with Zelensky. President Trump has ordered a pause on U.S. aid going to Ukraine in its war against Russia. A consequential move as he clashes with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky about the path to ending the conflict. The president has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well, a White House official said in a statement. We are pausing and reviewing our aid to ensure that it's contributing to a solution. The pause applies to all military aid not already on the ground in Ukraine and will affect munitions, anti-tank weapons, and other materials the U.S. has provided to Kyiv since Russia invaded roughly 3 years ago. Trump took office with nearly $4 billion in drawdown authority available from previously approved congressional funding for Ukraine. That funding now appears poised to go unused. The move is likely to increase the pressure on Zelensky to get back in Trump's good graces or risk losing ground in the war. It's also likely to put the spotlight on European nations seeking to rally more support for Kyiv. Now, if we want to really get into this, like it's been gotten into over the last few days, we want to start from kind of the beginning of this situation to where they had that White House
confrontation
meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's supposed to be a sit down talk about how we can come to peaceful terms, and it had Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, and of course Donald Trump as United States go-to guy, and JD Vance and a bunch of other people in his cabinet were there. It went from being somewhat civil with a few jabs here and there. You can hear them from our side of the aisle, which I would say is Trump and the rest of those guys. And it turned kind of nasty after they began to kind of point out the weaknesses within his circumstances. And I guarantee I don't feel like they pointed out the weaknesses in the circumstances of the Russians when they were talking to the Russians. I don't believe that.
No, Zelensky was brought there for public humiliation at the end of the day. That's all it was. Yep. You let a reporter talk crazy to a president of a different country, like a reporter, You know what I'm saying? And then JD Vance is going to sit there and laugh. And you see Marco Rubio's like,
yeah, I mean,
he was the most embarrassed in the room. Yeah, it was a joke.
It was a joke.
Zelensky didn't have to take it. He ain't going to bend the knee. I mean, he's ready to kind of do it now. He's like, the mineral deal can still be on the table because they know they can't win. And even the UK came out. They were like, look, we're going to try to do a peace deal, and the US is going to be involved and this and this and that because they know they kind of have to. They need us for this. But, I mean, they shouldn't.
They have to deal with us. It's a horrible circumstance to have a person who was sold out to Russia, which is Donald Trump. He's sold out to Vladimir Putin. He's given up basically the American, our military, all ground that we've gained in this war. I mean, all the help that it's going to basically create for what we've already been through with Russia. We have to think about those things. People tend not to understand the long history we've had with them, how many trillions of dollars we spent in a covert war with, Cold War counting. And then on top of that, we were in Afghanistan. They were sending in, hitmen and paying for all kind of stuff on our troops in Iraq and all the things we went through with them in Syria, them trying to dump our government bonds in 2008 when they're asked China to dump our government bonds so they could crater the economy further than where it was in '08. This is our mortal enemy. We all know this. And we have a person who is right now at war with them, and we don't have to fire a single shot. And they've already knocked off over 700,000 of their troops, plus over 1 million wounded. I mean, severely wounded, not just like, what you see on TV. This is like maybe a limb, or something else missing. This is what this small little nation has done to them. Let them deal with that problem. Put them in a situation to where, their economy is already cratering right now. Their military is on the verge. They have to conscript so many different people from different places right now just to even bring them in. They're bringing in North Koreans. Let this situation play itself out. Why are we interjecting ourselves?
They told the North Koreans that they were fighting South Koreans.
Really?
So when the North Koreans got captured, they're like, yo, who are you?
It's kind of cold. It's kind of cold over here.
Wait, you don't look like my cousin. Like, that's what I've been trying to get at. Homeboy stole my sister's doll back in '97.
Remember what they told the people over in India? Remember they hit them up and was like, "Hey, you guys want to work? You need a construction job? We'll pay you about $4,000 a month." They're like, "What? Seriously?"
They told me it was a call center, and now I have a gun and I'm at the front lines.
Oh man, this guy!
I haven't made a single call yet.
All right. You're stupid, bro. You're stupid. Hey, but listen, in all honesty though,
they told me I was going to work for Amazon.
Hey, it's crazy right now because honestly, they had them front line, man. They had them people front line with put a gun in your hand. This person probably never been in any kind of a confrontation with a gun in his entire life. They're like, here you go. The Russian military is like, they just put us on the front line. They didn't even give us any training.
They're like, I ain't had curry in weeks, bro. I'm starving out here.
This guy is crazy, man. Stop it, bro.
How do you feel about fuck him? So I'm joking. I'm playing. I'm just joking. So how do you feel about the rumor they were saying that Donald Trump has been a KGB agent since 1987? Have you seen that?
I mean, I've heard that. Do I think that he's been an agent? I don't know. But do I believe they've been giving him money? Yes. It's a long history. I mean, even his sons came out and said, we got all of our money from Russia. I mean, this is things that are already noted. They know that Deutsche Bank has given them a lot of money, and Deutsche Bank is known to have ties to Russia. There was a guy who bought one of Donald Trump's condos for like, I don't want to say the number, but it was like 3 or 4 times what it was really even worth. It was ridiculous, way more than what it was worth. And it was a Russian guy who did it. You know what I mean? So this is consistently, he's having dealings with Russians who are bailing him out of his financial situations for us to believe that something's not amiss here. Now all of a sudden you're so interested in getting this war over. People are dying. People are dying in Palestine. People are dying other places where there's war going on as well.
Well, they don't really care about the Palestinians. You saw they just let them cut off aid to them. And so that's my whole thing too. It's like, look, when it comes to this war, it's like you can be pro-Russian in America or you can be pro-Ukrainian, right? Everyone's okay with that, right? Mm-hmm. But once you start saying I'm pro-Palestinian in America, they want to throw you, they want to kill you. You know what I'm saying?
You're the worst person in the world.
The worst person in the world. It's like, why can't I support them? But let's get back to the topic. I think Zelensky needs to make the mineral deal. They came in and they embarrassed him. But at the end of the day, without the U.S. support, like Donald Trump said, that war would have been over in 2 weeks. So
without NATO support in general, it just wasn't just us. It was a lot of other people. They got a bunch of their F-35 fighters from I want to say the country, I believe it was like Sweden or one of those other countries, gave them some F-35s, man. We more than what we gave them. We've given them like 119 billion. I think the EU was giving them like over, I don't know, 128 something or billion or something like that. So there's been parity, but they've gotten a lot from everybody. They need our help, and it helps us. It's not just like about, we're helping you guys out. We're helping ourselves out. This is a nuclear power.
But also as Americans, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to sit here and struggle and, watch your price of everything go up. And then they're like, well, we're going to send Ukraine 83 billion. And I can understand what you're saying, Wes. It's a strategic thing to do. Yeah. But as a common American who doesn't really care about foreign dwellings or foreign situations going on, you're looking at this war in Ukraine like, first of all, it has nothing to do with us. Second, all that money could have been used here. You know what I'm saying? Now we have an administration here that they're going to act like they're going to give you some money, but they're not. We know who the money's going to go to. You need to make over $400 million or $400,000 to actually get a tax break now. So, I mean, and then Donald Trump came out and said, he's like, look, we're helping you out. We're helping all y'all out. What y'all doing for us? What are you giving us?
I'm going to say this. I think you made like a
very my favorite rap group, bro. Run the Jewels.
I feel like, man, you made a very good point that it's like, is looked over a lot by people who may know a little bit more about like world affairs or a little bit, I mean, we tend to look over that point that some people are not into. We had a guest on our show one time and I spoke to him about just world affairs. So I don't care about that. I only care about what's going on in America. What's happening? Have you traveled the whole, but some people are like that. And it's like, if us not understanding that America is America because of our foreign policy, because of what we have. If you look at half the stuff you buy, it's coming from overseas. It's coming from somewhere else. Most of the things that we're buying here, we don't tend to realize that a lot of the vegetables we buy are also coming from another country. A lot
Yep.
of the food that
During the
we, you know,
wintertime, South
it
America.
just it just is what it is. You know what I mean? And so we have to understand America is much more than just the United States. We're a global economy, and
Yeah,
everything's
there's a
global.
lot of web of stuff that goes on that keeps us safe and keeps our stuff on our shelves and our products going. And as that's getting messed with and touched right now, a lot of people are going to realize, damn, we do kind of need these other people. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's going to, and a lot of people, you're not going to be able to get to work. Like, I'm about to start walking to work just to save money on gas because I know that's going to go up. I'm
yeah.
glad I have the opportunity to be able to walk downhill. I'm gonna catch the bus on the way up because I'm out of shape, bro. Well, I'm in shape like a peanut M&M. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's enough of that. Senate Democrats blocked GOP-led bill to ban transgender athletes from women's sports. Senate Democrats on Monday blocked GOP-led bill that would ban transgender athletes from women's and girls' sports at federally funded schools and educational institutes. The bill's failure to advance highlights the limit of Republicans' narrow margin in Congress. Despite control both chambers, the party still needs support from Democrats in the Senate for most legislations to clear 60-vote threshold. The party line vote was 51 to 45. The Senate vote comes as GOP-led states across the country continue to put forward anti-trans measures, including bills intended to keep transgender students from playing on sports teams consistent with their gender identity. I thought this was like done deal, but for me, I'm kind of like this, man. They should just make a trans league.
I mean, we keep on rehashing this subject, and it's like not saying that it's a negative thing, but it just gets to the point to where they're just beating this up right now. You know what I mean? Like it should just be what it is. I mean, everyone understands that that's why there's boy and girl leagues. We all know why, and so there should not be any kind of like there should not be any kind of like dispute about who should be where or where. I'm watching sports. I'm seeing this kid, man. His boy. I mean, he ran like track or something against these girls. I mean, it's just sad to see
Was
that
that
this
the
is
one where he won and it was like before? Was that the track one? Because there's one where he was like he was when he was a boy he tied for fourth place or fifth place and he had to hold it with the other person and they tied and then when he went to the women's sports now he's dominating.
yeah. I
At the
mean,
end, yeah.
it's just sad that they allow that to even happen,
I
man.
feel bad for the girls in the sport because think about it, you get all the way up to be the greatest in your sport, and then this person decides, hey, I want to be a girl or whatever. Then they come in there and they dominate, and so your record book is gonna reflect that. Like you've worked your whole life. It's not fair to the women, and that's who I'm looking out for in this. And
And,
I'm like saying, hey, they didn't let black people play in baseball, so what
mhm.
do? We made our own league,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
I
it was
mean,
successful.
and it's not even about them even wanting to have their own league. I just believe. I think it's just like it doesn't matter what you identify as. You are this biologically. Period. Plain and simple. So you should not be, playing sports against girls. I mean, girls shouldn't be playing sports against boys. We allow it though because we understand there's a difference. So that's what we all need to understand. There is a difference. So this isn't a thing to where it's okay for this to happen because it would never be okay for it to happen. It should never be okay for this to happen. Period. I mean, this is not to me, it shouldn't be a Democrat or Republican thing. It's a decency thing.
Yeah.
Period. We understand what this should be. So everyone needs to just get on the same track and keep it where it needs to be instead of getting involved with people's parenting, how they parent their kids, how they that's not anyone else's issue. Period. Plain and simple. And that's just how I feel. But I think that this needs to be put to bed, man. This is a bad subject for Democrats especially because Democrats have tended to stand up for a right that I don't believe that
And it's
should
crazy.
have.
Like this is the only thing they've been able to stop. Everything else has been happening to us. Think about it.
But
They didn't stop nobody losing their jobs. They didn't stop any of the extra
I
stuff.
think it's
But
because they probably needed a filibuster proof majority. They probably needed so that he needs 60 votes. Because if it was just a simple up and down vote, they have 51-45.
yeah, well, it
They
looks like the
had it.
Democrats are only really, looking after the transgender community and the migrants.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. The reason why I say that only because there's certain things you can stop. If they bring it up for a vote and you can stop it with a 60, they would be able to stop his budget if they could. If they didn't go through reconciliation with his budget, which saying that all spending will be offset by cuts, which is not really true. But they're going to be able to show that like by showing fake numbers in the future, like, oh, but in the future, us giving the rich people this much money will add this to the economy. That's
Yeah.
what they'll do. They'll bring it through reconciliation so they can have a simple majority vote. And so some of this stuff doesn't have simple majority votes. So that it just looks that way, but it's not that way. If they could stop his executive orders, they would do it. But they can't stop his executive orders because that's something the president has access to just doing. There's no vote on that. But that's kind of why that is.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, man, this needs to be put to bed, man. We need to move on from this subject, and find something else to really talk about, man. I got something important for us to talk about as well. Dow tumbles more than 600 points. S&P 500 posts biggest loss since December as Trump says tariffs will proceed. The S&P 500 retreated on Monday, extending February's rout and turning red for the year after President Donald Trump's confirmation of forthcoming tariffs. The broad index fell 1.76% to end at 5,849, marking its worst day since December and bringing its year-to-date performance to a loss of about 0.5%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 649 points, or 1.48%, to finish at 43,191. The NASDAQ Composite slid 2.64% to close at 18,350, weighed down by NVIDIA's decline of more than 8%. Stocks took a notable leg down in afternoon trading following President Trump's reiteration that 25% levies on imports from Mexico and Canada would go into effect on Tuesday, dashing investors' hopes of a last-minute deal to avert the full tariffs on the two U.S. allies. All three indexes traded in positive territory earlier in the day, with the Dow rising nearly 200 points at session highs. No room left for Mexico or for Canada, Trump said, alongside Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick from the White House. Reciprocal tariffs start on April 2nd, but very importantly, tomorrow, tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico will start. This guy's a fucking, excuse my language. Seriously. It's gotten to a point to where it's like, this dude's a clown. He's trying to tear down our economy. He's tearing down all of our foreign, deals that we already have in place. All of our people who are our allies. He's breaking that apart. It's just like, where does this end?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too, man. I can't figure out what he's trying to do. I can tell with other things. What I'm saying, like with the migrants. That's why they're mad they haven't gathered up enough of them, because they're trying to get enough where they can't deport them as quickly as they want to. You know what I'm saying? Because now they've only gathered maybe 200,000 migrants, and they're all shipped off. You know what I'm saying? If they could get like 1 million a month, you know what I'm saying, or like 500,000 a month, then they would have too many to get rid of right away. Then they could force them into the labor camps. But like with all the rest, I know that what he's doing with the tariffs is basically trying to bully the other countries, and he's trying to say it's because of the fentanyl coming in. That's one reason I can give you that. Hey, let's stop the flow of drugs. But unless you're destroying underground tunnels that lead to Texas from some place in the middle of Texas, you're not stopping the flow of drugs. Like, you may see them, oh yeah, good job, officers, you found 8 pounds of meth. Well, guess what? 5 trucks just drove by with 7 each. You know what I'm saying? You're not stopping anybody, bro. They let the cartels and the drug dealers, they let some of them drugs get caught. They do that on purpose.
No, absolutely. I'm just like, it's at a point right now where when we start looking at the Dow taking this kind of a hit, he's supposed to be the president who is the business president. So businesses are supposed to be happy when he comes in. They're supposed to put money in the market, like initially happened when he first his first day of his I wouldn't say inauguration, when he was voted in, and the day after the election, the stock market jumped because everyone was like, "Oh, Trump's coming in. He's going to do X, Y, and Z." Now people really understand. There's a lot of fear in the market. They talked about it before this. They said, "Hey, man, he can come in, but these tariffs are bad, horrible for business." They told us. What did Elon Musk say? Or you guys are going to feel some pain. It's going to be coming from you guys' pocket. I'm not going to feel the pain. He said it's going to be you who feels the pain.
What has he done good so far that's been good for business? You know what I'm saying? Usually
Nothing.
when a president, most of my life, like when a president has come in, they've kind of just built off what the last person did. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
he's been tearing down.
Everything's been tearing down. How many people lost their job? 463,000 people applied for unemployment last month.
And we'll know tomorrow what the jobs number is too as well. We'll know what the actual how many losses that came in. No, I know, but what they'll do is every first Tuesday of the month, first Tuesday of every month, they bring out the jobs number. So that should be tomorrow.
And I'll probably be the last one we get to see because it's going to reflect badly on him like it
And
always does.
he's gonna want to keep it quiet. But it's just sad to see the stock market fall. Like they say, Nvidia fell 8%. I mean, the cryptos are falling right now. He came out and he did he talked about that we're gonna have a crypto
Reserve.
yeah, okay, crypto reserve, right? But he's going to be stockpiling like 5 different cryptos that's keeping on buying more of them, and the crypto market jumped for about a day. Then it just like watched it crashed. I mean, not crashed completely, but I mean it's fallen off by like 8 to 10% from where it just the little jump that it did take, because he's supposed to be doing an announcement on Friday about what cryptocurrencies and how we're going to do a crypto reserve XYZ. But this is just bad. I mean, when the market's first day of it's falling, let's see when with these reciprocal tariffs, they're going to come from Mexico. We get 70% of our all the gas or fuel that we import, the oil that we import comes from Mexico and Canada. 70%. So what do you think they're going to do? I mean, you got the whole Northeast.
And then you got Ontario's Premier Doug Ford said Monday he's prepared to cut off electricity exports to the U.S. if President Trump's 25% tariffs on Canada goods go through.
I mean, that's the whole Northeast. Canada, pretty much, a lot of the Northeast, New York, a lot of other states. I know people say, we don't care about New York. You should. It's your fellow American. It's weird. But they're going to cut off their, I mean, I won't say, I don't know if they'll cut it off completely. I'm not sure. But a lot of the Northeast and some of the, some of the Midwest, the upper Midwest are, Canada supplies their electricity. All of it mostly, and so we have to think about things deeper than what Trump can make a move and don't care about the repercussions because he's not going to be the one feeling the pain. And what's he going to do? Try to bully him then? This isn't a good way, because half of the time he's trying to bully a person into a deal that's best for him, not best for the United States, best for Trump or the people next to him. Just like with the minerals deal with Ukraine. That mineral deal is best for Tesla. That's who that mineral deal is best for. He didn't even know what the name of it was. He was saying raw earth minerals. It's rare earth minerals. You don't even know what this is. You have no idea. And he also said something like rural earth minerals or something. He said, you have no idea. Someone else is feeding you this information, and that's why you're going after it for another person. It has nothing to do with you. And you know who else is going after it for? Any AI company, any semiconductor company, he's going after it for them. So he can make personal deals with them. This has nothing to do with the American people. This has nothing to do with helping the rest of the world. He doesn't care about peace. He cares about lining his pockets. That's why right now with the stock market, how it's been falling over the last few days is going to hurt people's bottom line. That's people's retirement portfolio. Say if you want to retire in the next couple of years with these tariffs coming in, they're going to put another 10% they said on China. What do we think is going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, even Ford doubled down on his pledge to retaliate. This is what he said. He said, they rely on our energy. They need to feel the pain. They want to come at us hard. We're going to come back twice as hard, he said. And he said, I'm going to do it with a smile, too. So, I wouldn't believe, unless it's a real person, I don't believe half the stuff I read about people being negative towards other Americans, because you have so many people, especially with X or with Twitter, you have so many people that are from foreign countries, and they just set up, like, before you could look, like you can tell if somebody's on there and their name's like Doug Smith, 1785645, a bunch of numbers behind it, you can tell it's a fake account. Or if they just made it a couple months ago. But yeah, I don't believe that stuff. Like, because there's a lot of nasty people online, but some of that stuff just isn't really what it is.
Absolutely.
A lot of people just causing chaos and making people upset. I have one here. Well, actually, before we end with that one, everybody needs to, and for us, we can tell you the news, but we can also tell you how to help yourselves, right? The best thing you could do is learn how to dehydrate food. Learn how to build gardens in your area. It's springtime right now. You know what I'm saying? Learn better transportation ways to get in and out of where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? The less you have to spend money on, the better off you'll be here in this economy. That's what I'm saying. And I'm going to leave that part out there like that.
Absolutely.
And then we go here. Civil rights lawyer Ben Crump calls for expanding crisis response programs as police killings hit record high. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump is calling for expansion of crisis intervention programs as new data shows police killings hit record highs in 2024, despite a national decline in violent crimes. Crump and Kenyon Bryant are pushing for a national crisis intervention models that divert mental health related 911 calls to trained professionals instead of police. I don't see how I don't know how you're going to implement that now these days. The police are about to get full immunity. It is crazy that you're calling the police for mental health crises, but there's no way they can change this right now.
I mean, yeah, you look at what's already just happening right now, just how police officers are being, they've closed down the whole database for like all policemen's like the negative records from the the federal database of that. They've knocked all that down. They're not really. This isn't really, I think, a priority. Mental health to them is kind of like when they look at anything else, that they're just extra expenses. That's how they probably look at mental health. I think they'd rather not have to spend money on a mental health crisis hotline or someone who to be able to call for that. Why? Because they're looking at that as that's a form of DEI. That's what they probably call it.
They've tried to do it many years ago, but it's to no prevail. Because most of the police officers, I don't know in some states, but like especially where I'm at, they're understaffed. They don't have time for that. You'd have to have a whole new organization for that, and they still have to be police trained. Because someone having a mental break, usually, sometimes they got a gun, they got a knife, or they're acting crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like you could taser them, but I mean, if the police show up, look, you acted crazy towards them, they're gonna shoot you. There are a lot of ex-military that were out overseas that were trained to kill people, and now they become police officers. And so now it kind of makes sense why they're getting rid of all that database and all that stuff. It's not to kill us, all right? They've been killing us for years. Don't let anything fool you that they're gonna change their ways. That's for all the rest of y'all. When y'all start complaining and y'all want to take a stand and march in the streets and do something about it, they be like, I got you. Y'all didn't recognize, y'all didn't feel all them George Floyd ass whoopings they was giving y'all. Y'all want to save the black folks, we're going to treat you like them.
I mean, that's absolutely, I mean, it's like, to me, I'm
Come here,
surprised
Toby
that
and James.
that we don't already have
Tobias
these type
and Jordan
of
is
things
your new name.
already in place. I'm surprised that we don't have these things in place already, because these are two separate issues. Mental health and policing are just different issues. And they should not be handled by a person who is only really a hammer. Most police officers are really just hammers. They're not, satin gloves. They're just there to, pound in, or they're not even there to resolve conflict. That's not what they're there for. They're there to arrest somebody, or to, a lot of them just don't have conflict resolution. Temperaments. So that's just not there. So there need to be, mental health, specialists on site when there is a mental, because there's been a lot of people who's gotten killed when they've called and said, hey, this is my child or whoever, my significant other, is having a mental health ordeal. And this has been personal things that I've seen before in my personal life, like where you're afraid to even though you need to, you're afraid to call these people because you know what they're about. And it's nothing good for me. I know nothing good come out of it for me.
Sometimes they do. I mean, I guess it depends on who you're dealing with. But I mean, like, they ain't got time to talk you down, bro. It's like, follow my commands, do what I say, or I'm gonna beat your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Do whatever
I
else.
gotta do. Look, it's just, you gotta realize, bro, the cop just left a call from an old lady that got sexually assaulted by a drug addict, meth addict, because he's looking for heroin stuff. He just came from a house where 3 kids were held hostage and being sexually assaulted in there. He just picked up 2 kids off the street that got hit by bikes. He just watched 2 murders go down. Now you gotta come to your house and you don't want to follow instructions. He ain't got time for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not defending his actions. I'm just letting you know. Like, people, you get pulled over by the police and you be mad as hell, but some people don't realize what they have to do. The police take care of the underbody of our country. Yeah, there's a lot of them that go out. They be bored. They go out their way. They start harassing people, whatever. But there's a lot of them that they became police officers to make a change. And they ain't got time for you not to listen to their commands. They got real things to do except for telling you to put your clothes on and stop dancing the Prince in your yard butt-ass naked because you keep seeing people from your past.
It seems like to me they know when to have the patience for certain people, and they tend not to have it for others. I've seen it on too many occasions where I've seen them yell in the face of them, threaten them, call them all kind of names. You let a black, it's almost like they'll be damned to let a black person say it to them. But if this person who looks like them or looks like their cousin or uncle or auntie or whoever it is, they can understand them a little bit better. Well, and that's why I believe we need to police our own neighborhoods as well too. I believe that.
And I always, my bad to interrupt, but I always tell people like this: look, if you're doing something wrong and the police pull you over, hey, they caught you doing something wrong. But if you're black and you're not doing nothing wrong and they're just fucking with you, prepare to die. That's what they're coming to do. You know what I'm saying? So you can either end up on a T-shirt or end up on the news and a wanted list. How you want to live?
Absolutely. I got one more for us, man. Trump says he's ready to impose death penalty on people who sell illicit drugs, calling policy very humane. President Donald Trump is again promoting his support for executing people who sell currently illicit drugs, calling it very humane policy to prevent overdose deaths that he's ready to implement. He also ambitiously projected that his administration will cut drug use in the U.S. by 50% during his new term by launching an aggressive advertising campaign to warn Americans about the harms of substance misuse. During the White House event with governors from across the U.S. on Friday, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster's, Republican, told Trump about his concerns with fentanyl trafficking, to which the president responded by offering his extreme capital punishment proposal of the following the lead of countries like China that impose the death penalty on people involved in selling illegal drugs. While he has said he's unsure whether the U.S. as a whole is similarly ready to move forward with the policy, Trump encouraged governors to push for it at the state level. If you notice that every country that has the death penalty has no drug problem, they execute drug dealers, Trump said. And when you think about it, it's very humane because every drug dealer, on average, they say kill at least about 500 people, not to mention the damage they do to so many others, but they kill large numbers of people.
And then he also said, yo, if we don't get tough on drug dealers, we're wasting our time. Just remember that. We're wasting our time. And that toughness includes the death penalty. You know, and that's, I mean, so I agree with parts of what he said on this, okay?
Oh, goodness.
All right, now hear me
all about it.
Hear me out, brother. Hear me out. Now,
to hear you.
Is the death penalty too extreme? Yeah. But it's a start. It's like, look, because what was the other side doing? And what were they doing before that? They were coddling these drug addicts, right? They're like, oh, don't worry. Come get new needles from us. Don't worry. We got safe injection sites for you. And that just boggled my mind. I'm like, that means, what do you mean? I can't sell drugs outside the building? How you going to charge me with the crime, but you got these coddling places where they can sell drugs outside the building? At least he's trying something. You know what I'm saying? All the rest of the administrations.
This is crazy.
Let me go ahead.
Let me go ahead.
No, I'm not done. Let me save my space. Where's my mute?
Go ahead.
Let me finish. The other administrations weren't doing nothing, bro. They were just kind of like, don't worry, Timmy, you're going to get all right. The only thing they did was they lowered the crimes for people with drugs. Because remember, they had mandatory minimums. That was all for the black folks, right? But then as soon as they had to give Tommy the same time as they gave Tyrone, that's when they wanted to start changing everything. And remember, Oregon made drugs legal. And what happened? The crime rate skyrocketed.
I don't know if the crime rate skyrocketed.
They had to repeal the law.
What I do know is that we both know who this is going to be directed at, who's every single crime bill is going to be directed at. We all know this already, who's always been directed at. We sit here and pretend that we don't know. And for us to sit back and like, at least he's doing something. I can't believe he said that. I mean, you my guy. You already know that. Boy, I'm like, said something that's to kill people who sell drugs. Where do most people come from? They're poor. They don't have any money. They have a lot less options than other people do.
I don't know any black people selling drugs in Iowa and Kentucky, homie.
I know.
They already came at us. They already came at us with drug bills. This is.
Are you thinking that Iowa and Kentucky? I mean, I won't say Kentucky because Kentucky, there's lots of black people who live in Kentucky. Let's say Iowa. There's probably not as many, but there are some there too. Do you think that they're not going to make sure that these people get some kind of a drug court, and that the other ones who they feel are the threatening ones get the time? This guy, he's from our town. Timmy McMaster's, whatever his name is, he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve that. But this kid over here, he's from a bad part of town.
Timmy McMaster's got 5 years because they had mandatory minimums in the state that they already made.
He didn't get a death penalty.
They already made for black folks.
Death penalty 5. No, they didn't. Tell you what he got. He got the drug program because they already changed that around and made sure the drug program, that wasn't even a schedule whatever drug at first. Fentanyl wasn't. Remember, it wasn't. It wasn't high on the scheduled list, but crack cocaine sure was. They made sure they made that the little crack was. Cocaine wasn't, but crack was. Let's stop sitting back and acting like we don't understand.
Higher than fentanyl right now.
I don't know about anymore. They might have dropped it, but they might have changed it. Remember they changed that around for a minute.
Did they?
But listen, the point of this is right here. It's just, to me, like, for a person to ever come out and say death penalty for drug dealers, it's crazy to me. You didn't say death penalty for pedophiles. You didn't say death penalty for rapists. Didn't say any of that stuff. Why not?
Why would there be death penalty for rapists? You saw what they did with that Epstein list. They came out. They had the people come out with the folders. You say, "Oh yeah, we got the folders." They made a whole joke of it. You want to know why? Because
they're involved.
They're involved. That's
why they're involved. But they'll come out and say, but then will they talk about the what do they call the Pecklers, the Pinklers, or whatever, the people who made Percocets? I forget their name. The name of the people who made the Percocets, the family who ended up having to pay a couple $1 billion or whatever it was, but made billions, tens of billions of dollars off the drug. Will they consider them drug dealers?
Fentanyl's not a natural drug. It's synthetic. They make that shit.
And it's what I'm saying. They're manufacturing this drug. They're manufacturers. And just because they've been given a little bit of leeway by the federal government to do it, that doesn't make it any more right than the person who's down the street trying to feed his family. Let's be honest.
You know, the same thing my mom said. She was like, look, they can't tax marijuana. The only way they'll make marijuana legal is if they find a way to tax it. And they did, and now weed is legal. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as they can figure out how to tax fentanyl, the only person stressing about drug dealers Actually, no,
They
he's like,
already
don't
do.
worry.
You know, they already do
Don
tax
Jr. is
fentanyl.
the only person. He's like, yo, homie, don't worry, my dad's gonna pardon you. All right, just
Hey, you know they do tax. Fentanyl is already in, like they use it in
it's medical.
hospitals
It's for
now.
medical procedures. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm
exactly.
saying. So they are taxing it. This just got out to the public, and it got out to the wrong kind of public for them. That's why they feel the way they feel. But this is just it's a crazy idea for them to even bring that up, man. To a death penalty for drug dealers. Go down south and see who the prisons are filled with, and we know who don't commit the most crimes. We see who's dying the most from drug use. Who are they getting the drugs from? Their own people, like you said.
Well,
But
that's
those
why they're
people
all
aren't
out of
going to
control
jail.
now. Think about it,
It's
bro. Like for
weird.
us, how many times for us we always getting pulled over, arrested, or whatever, just for like minor stuff. But once you attack one demographic and you let the other one slide all their lives, they don't want to listen to you when they're older. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why you don't see they always people always make jokes like, "Ha ha, he must be smoking crack." I'm like, bro, he must be hitting that Fenny. And then people get mad. Well, why would you say that? Why would you say they get all offended
Meth.
and shit?
You know what
Bro,
I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
they
because
smoke
they
meth and
know.
shit. Come on
Hey,
now, there's people that smoke crack because if you ain't been smoking crack all your life,
hey,
you still smoke
listen,
crack.
listen.
But these
Hey,
are the new
listen.
drugs, meth and
Hey,
fentanyl.
listen.
You know what
Hey,
I'm saying?
listen.
And that ain't us.
I'm gonna keep real. People will say to me, they're like, "Oh, this welfare queen." They be saying stuff not about me, but they'll just say, "I know what they always try to use a little terminology," and I'll just start hitting them with the fentanyl stuff. Like, yeah, maybe probably. Hopefully, y'all don't OD from. Not saying that I think it's funny because it's not, but
Oh,
it's
they,
just the
they say
truth. You want to
welfare queen.
make
I'm
you.
like, oh, you mean like the girl on Instagram where they cut off her food stamps because he had a new BMW and she was making all the money?
You know, what I mean, I hit them with I mean, with the numbers. We already know the numbers of food stamps, but I'm like, nah. But let's talk about fentanyl. Fentanyl tells us that is the key to the entire thing about crime. If you with the fentanyl deaths in this country, they have lowered the life expectancy rate just out of fentanyl deaths. That
But
was
they keep,
crazy.
but they keep ignoring it. At least, and that's what I'm saying. At least he's trying to do something about it. Before he's like,
Oh
look,
no, no, no! Murder, huh? Kill somebody.
well,
Let's
not even
kill
that, bro.
them.
That's
Kill
why
them.
that's why he's saying he's putting the tariffs
This
on
dude
Mexico
crazy.
and Canada. He's like, you're letting too much fentanyl in my country. You know what I'm saying? At least he's doing something about it.
You
Joe
know,
Biden was like, bring it.
he's letting too much fentanyl in the country. You know what I mean? Like the American government is letting too much, but they don't care about that. You know, drug users and drug dealers, they've helped this country through a lot of recessions. People don't
That's
even know.
true.
They built Miami. Let's be honest here. A lot of things that we don't even know about were built by these people. I mean, a lot of these banks are getting caught with all this money in them and getting caught for money laundering for these different people. They're making their money off these. If you stockholders, everybody who has 401ks, you're making money off this too. You'll find out real quick when things start drying up around here how bad it really is. People start climbing in your window for your prescription bottles. It'll change the game up real quick
Hey, you know
here.
it's crazy when I go into rural areas here in where I live at in Washington, not the city where I live, but rural area. It's already bad. They already got bars on all the windows. Imagine going to Burger
Crazy.
King, they got bars on the window.
That's crazy. They've been
Crazy.
robbed so many times,
So
but they don't
many
even.
times.
In those
I
places,
went to the
everybody
weed
like.
store. The lady checked. I gave her cash, right? And she gonna
Mhm.
hit my dollar bill with the pen,
The dollar
the
bill.
dollar bill. And I was like, I don't know. She thought I'd be offended. I was like, oh, give me my money back. I don't want to spend money no place where people laundering cash over here. I'm out.
I would care there would be nowhere else at. Let me get that too. Hold on. So I'm the only one buying stuff. Everybody else stealing. Let me get myself 50 cent. 50, forget the dollar,
Even
50
the
cent.
one,
50
bro.
cent me.
Even I was like, I don't
That
even
tell
want to
you
be
where they
there.
at, man. That tell you where they
Yeah.
at. They coming in there with 21s and they're buying everything. They're like, man, look, we balling out today. I got 20 fake $1 bills right now. They took their time
It's
out
the
to make a
underbelly of
fake
America.
$1 bill. That
Yeah.
is crazy.
Think about it. It's the underbelly of America that the only person that ever exposed it, his name was Jerry Springer. Because at least when Jerry Springer was out, we saw that all of us had problems. We all had in all our communities. You know what I'm saying? And now they're trying to hide it, but now you see it's the underbelly of America. And with that, folks, we're gonna let you go. We'll see you next time. This is Uncommon Courtesy.